What's up guys, it's Devin from Neptune Design, and today I want to talk about things that are wasting your money with your Google Ads accounts. So if you stay tuned to this video, what I'm going to do is I am going to talk you through most of the issues that my clients come to me with, things that are basically burning through their budgets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a whole lot of settings that you can check on your own Google Ads account just to make sure that you are squeezing every single penny out of Google Ads. And what I'm going to do at the end of this video is I'm going to show you the biggest waster of money that I see people doing when it comes to their Google Ads campaign. So if you're interested in all of that, stick around. It's going to be a good video. The first thing that you need to do if you're new to Google Ads and you've just started running campaigns is I need you to change your settings over to expert mode. What expert mode is going to do is it'll open up a whole bunch of new options for you to run your campaigns, and you'll also get to see the exact settings that are burning a hole in your ads budget. So it's really simple to do. All you have to do is go over to your settings, click on switch to expert mode. Now, if you already have campaigns running and worry that this might affect your campaigns, it won't affect your campaigns at all, because all you're doing is just looking at a more detailed view of the same campaign. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to advise you to do if you're a beginner and you're just starting off is I want you to switch over to the manual CPC bidding strategy. Now, the manual CPC bidding strategy basically allows you to manually set how much you'll pay per click on your ads. Now, if you use any of the automated bidding strategies, you'll find that they actually vary quite a bit. So you might end up paying $1 for a click, and you might end up paying $5 for a click or $8 for a click. And this is because you haven't manually locked in the maximum that you want to pay for a click on your ads. So what I suggest you do is switch over to manual CPC. Now, it's extremely easy to do. You'll find the setting over in the settings menu as you set up your campaign, or you can go into your campaign settings and you can change it there. And when you do switch over to manual CPC, it's going to allow you to basically set a limit as to what you'll pay. So the benefit of this is if you're only willing to pay $1 per click, or if it's only worth $1 per click to you, that means instead of paying $2, $3, sometimes $4 and not being able to control your account, when you have the setting enabled, you basically just limit it to $1 and you'll be able to basically control how much you pay per click. So that's really cool. It's really helpful as well. And if you're beginning a campaign and you don't have conversion tracking set up and you're just trying to figure out if the idea is working or not, this is definitely the bidding strategy that you should start off with. So my next tip is to use retargeting. What is retargeting? Retargeting basically shows your ads to people who have already visited your website. Now, the cool thing about a retargeting campaign is if somebody visits your website for the first time, they might not have purchased. They might have seen your product, they might have even liked your product, but chances are they didn't purchase. Only 3% of normal web traffic converts the first time that they go onto a website. So that's pretty low. So what you want to do is you want to retarget the people that have already came to your website. And basically, you need to think about it like a friendship. Somebody might be an acquaintance, they might know you, but the more that you make contact with that person and the more that you see that person and the more that you spend time with that person, eventually you grow to like them and they become a friend. It's the same thing with retargeting. People might have seen your product, they might have been on your website, but they might still not be sure. But if you keep on showing them your product through display ads and banner ads, and if you keep on bringing those same people back to the website, they will eventually purchase. So try and spend some of your budget on remarketing campaigns. And there are few requirements for your remarketing campaigns. Number one, if you are running a display ad campaign, you need to have at least 100 website visitors in the past 30 days. If you're running a search campaign on Google Ads, you're going to need 1,000 people that have visited your website in the past 30 days. And if you're running YouTube ads, you're going to need 1,000 people in the past 30 days as well. So your next question will obviously be, Devin, all of that is cool, but how do I actually set up a remarketing campaign? And what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below so that you can have a how-to guide on how to set up a remarketing campaign for your Google Ads account. Let's talk about target market in Google Ads, especially with your Google display ads. Now, a lot of people, when they're setting up their target audience in Google display ads, and I see this a lot, is they go and they set their audience settings to say, show my display ads to the entire country or to the entire continent or to the entire world. And this is a massive problem, and it leads to unwanted clicks, and it leads to really spending your budget on people who are not really following through with the checkout. And the reason for that is a whole lot of people that you show your product to, although your product might be good and it might be beneficial and it might help them, those people do not have the urgency to purchase straight away. So what happens is you're spending a whole lot of money on clicks, but they're not leading to conversions because you're targeting everyone. So you need to narrow down your audience. And the best way to do this is to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, does my target audience or the audience that I'm selecting, do they have the spending power? Do they have the amount of spare capital to actually purchase my product today? So if you're selling your product that's maybe out of their affordability, they wouldn't be able to purchase anyway. So you're just wasting clicks by being in that specific area or region. So make sure that you match your audience settings to the income level of the area that you're targeting to. The next thing that I want you to do, or the next thing that I want you to ask yourself is, do they fall within the age range for my product? So don't advertise a product that's meant for people who are in their middle ages or maybe the late 40s to teenagers and guys who are in their 20s. And you can easily exclude the age groups that you want in the settings under Google Ads. The next thing and the most important question that I want you to ask is, do they have a recent life event that has happened that would basically increase their need for the product? So I'll give you a great example. If you're a wedding photographer and you're using display ads to market your services, a great setting to use underneath the audience settings is use the wedding planning in market audience. This is basically an audience that's built up by Google of people who are actively planning their weddings right now that you can display your ads to today. That would be a great opportunity for you as a wedding photographer, because now you're only showing your display ads to people who are basically planning a wedding. And it's such perfect timing that your ads just happen to show up. And that will dramatically increase your conversions because you're marketing to people who have the urgency to purchase because of the recent life event. So make sure that your targeting is always reflective of your target market. So the great thing about having Google Ads is being able to target people whenever they're searching for your product or service. But sometimes you could come up in unrelated searches. So I would encourage you, if you aren't doing this already, I would encourage you to add negative keywords to all your campaigns. Negative keywords will basically make sure that you show up in the searches that you want to show up for, and that you don't show up in searches where people aren't really looking for your product or service. So you can add negative keywords by going into your campaign overview, going under searches, and then finding searches that are not related to your product or your service that you're offering, and making sure that you add those as negative search terms. And this can help a lot because sometimes the clicks that you are getting for your website, you're paying for those clicks, but those clicks aren't really leading to people who are interested in what you have to say. So when you add the negative search terms, you basically only showing up to people who really have a need for what you're selling. So I'll give you an example. If you're a web designer and you're marketing web design services, you do not want to appear for searchers like web design vacancies or web design jobs or people looking for a career in web design. Why? Because you're busy selling web design, so you don't want to offer jobs to people in web design. And when you add jobs, vacancy as negative keywords, that means you don't show up in those searches, and that means those clicks you won't have to pay for. So that's another tip. Make sure you apply your negative keywords. Okay, the part of the video that you've all been waiting for. This is the biggest budget waster by far, the maximize conversions setting. Now, some of you who might be new to Google Ads, or some of you who are just starting a campaign out for the very first time, you'd see the setting and say to yourself, but this is exactly what I want. I want to maximize the amount of conversions that I get for my budget. The only problem is this is a machine learning automated bidding strategy. So basically, this is what happens. When you choose maximize conversions, you're basically telling the machine learning that you are willing to pay more per click when it is deemed that someone is highly likely to purchase your product. The only problem is most people who start off with Google Ads or have little knowledge about Google Ads, they either don't have conversion tracking set up or they don't have a strong history of conversion data. So basically, what happens is the machine learning ends up just guessing because it doesn't have enough data fed to it so that it understands what makes someone convert and what makes someone just click away from your website. So what ends up happening is you end up paying a lot of money for clicks, and your budget really fluctuates, or your clicks price really fluctuates because your machine learning is just guessing. Sometimes it pays $1 per click, sometimes it pays $3 per click, sometimes it pays $7 per click. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have conversion tracking set up, and you need to make sure that you have had at least 30 conversions in the past 30 days so that your machine learning can actually have some data and it can process for itself whether this is a high chance of someone converting or whether someone is really just browsing and they don't really care about buying your product. So make sure that you start off with manual CPC, and eventually once you have enough conversion data, like I said, once you have those 30 conversions in the past 30 days, only then switch to the maximize conversion settings. And that's my final tip. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. If you know somebody who's struggling with Google Ads campaign or controlling their budget, please share it with them. And I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I hope we can grow together. Thanks. Have an awesome day.